they are regretting the heck out of this because she said absolutely nothing. Now, this comes moments after she did this that is going viral because a lot of people are saying something's wrong with her. I'm beginning to hear alcoholism, which is wild. I don't think that's true. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is true. But boy, take a listen to Kamala Harris confuse the crowd earlier. To then we're going to watch the CNN interview that they just did. And guess what? They're probably never going to do another interview. Let's take a listen.
Our election is about understanding the importance of this beautiful country of ours in terms of what we stand for around the globe as a democracy. As a democracy, we...
Well, as you can see, the crowd didn't know whether to clap or what. This was earlier during her Pennsylvania rally with a crowd of 35 people.
Of this beautiful country of ours in terms of what we stand for around the globe as a democracy. As a democracy, we know there's a duality to the nature of democracy. On the one hand, incredible strength when it is intact, what it does for its people to protect and defend their rights, their liberty, and their freedom. Incredibly strong and incredibly fragile.
What? It even left this guy confused. Some of you guys may have seen this clip, but I got to play it again because this all happens in one day. Even Tim Walz is like, oh boy, what is she saying? He's confused. He's even starting to grow hair again. So let's go to the interview that everybody is talking about because they finally caught up with Kamala Harris to speak about her recent policy decision to put out there her economic policy. And boy, oh boy, this went very wrong. Take a listen. Let me know if you understand what she says.
You unveiled some economic policies last week.
Yeah.
Can you explain how you're going to pay for those? And can you give us a sense of what other policies you want to unveil going forward?
Sure. Well, I mean, you just look at it in terms of what we are talking about, for example, around children and the child tax credit and extending the EITC. It's at $6,000 for the first year of a child's life. The return on that investment in terms of what that will do and what it will pay for will be tremendous. We've seen it when we did it in the first year of our administration. We reduced child poverty by over 50%. So that's a lot of the work. And then,
well, Tim Walz's wife is she's also very confused. Let me know if you guys understanding what she's saying right now.
What we're doing in terms of the tax credits, we know that there's a great return on that investment. And when we increase home...
Wait, what? She just said that. She already said that. Let's go back real quick. It's like she doesn't know what she's saying when she's not in front of a teleprompter.
Explain how you're going to pay for those, and can you give us a sense of what other policies you want to unveil going forward?
Sure. Well, I mean, you just look at it in terms of what we are talking about, for example, around children and the child tax credit and extending the EITC. It's at $6,000 for the first year of a child's life. The return on that investment in terms of what that will do and what it will pay for will be tremendous. We've seen it when we did it in the first year of our administration. We reduced child poverty by over 50%. So that's a lot of the work. And then what we're doing in terms of the tax credits, we know that there's a great...
She's literally saying the same thing over and over and over. Like this, she might be president. I want to hear, like if they do choose her, a little bit of confidence. I want a little bit of, security. There's nothing here.
The work. And then what we're doing in terms of the tax credits, we know that there's a great return on that investment. And when we increase home ownership in America, what that means...
He's confused again. Tim Walz is confused again.
In terms of increasing the tax base, not to mention property tax base, what that does to fund schools. Again, return on investment. I think it's a mistake for any person who talks about public policy to not critically evaluate how you measure the return on investment. When you are strengthening neighborhoods.
What is she saying? Oh my, bro, how many times are you going to say child tax credit? How many times can you say return on investment in the same sentence? And her husband, well, her fiance husband, what is he to her? I really don't even know. A lot of people are saying that he's, I'm not going to say it on here. I don't want to get banned. But this is one of the wildest interviews. This is what is this?
Space, not to mention property tax base, what that does to fund schools. Again, return on investment. I think it's a mistake for any person who talks about public policy to not critically evaluate how you measure the return on investment. When you are strengthening neighborhoods, strengthening communities, and in particular the economy of those communities, and investing in a broad-based economy, everybody benefits and it pays for itself.
It pays for itself. That is what she said during, finally, she's been running away from the media. She finally did a quick interview and has left everybody even more confused than yesterday. Not sure, maybe you guys understood what she's saying, but yeah, you probably won't find that interview anywhere else anytime soon. In response to that, here is JD Vance.
Campaign is in a very, very good spot. We're going to win this race. We just have to run through the finish line.
Okay, I want to give you a chance to respond to some of this back and forth on financial issues. This is what the vice president had to say about what your ticket is planning for America.
He plans to give billionaires massive tax cuts year after year. And he plans to cut corporate taxes by over $1 trillion, even as they pull in record profits. And that's on top of the $2 trillion tax cut he already signed into law when he was president.
She also talked about the plans for tariffs, as you heard Senator Coons talk about. Other economists have said those tariffs, along with mass deportations that would impact the workforce, will also drive up prices for Americans.
Well, Shannon, I don't buy that argument because Donald Trump was already president. He already secured the wall. He already implemented tariffs, which brought back 12,000 American factories were built during Donald Trump's administration, and prices were low and take-home pay was high. The entire argument of the Kamala Harris campaign boils down to forget how good things were when Donald Trump was president. Forget that we had rising take-home pay. Forget that we had low inflation. Forget that we had peace all over the world. And somehow, if you give Kamala Harris more power than she already has, she's somehow going to do something different than she's done for the past 3.5 years, Shannon. The most absurd thing that Kamala says at her rallies is on day one, I'm going to tackle the food and housing affordability crisis in this country. Shannon, day one for Kamala Harris was 3.5 years ago, and everything that she's done has made the affordability problem worse. We cannot give her more power and more influence. She's just going to do more of the same, which has already made the affordability crisis for Americans very, very real.
Well,
how good does JD look nowadays? The more he keeps his composure, everybody keeps their composure, the more the other side is exposing themselves and their weaknesses. Well, here's a viral moment from the same interview from JD Vance. Take a listen.
Because the American people just don't buy the idea that Kamala Harris, who's been vice president for 3.5 years, is somehow going to tackle the inflation crisis in a way tomorrow that she hasn't for the past 1,300 days. Giving Kamala Harris control over inflation policy, Shannon, it's like giving Jeffrey Epstein control over human trafficking policy. The American people are much smarter than that. They don't buy the idea that Kamala Harris represents a fresh start. She is more of the same. It is doubling.
Whoa, did he just go there? JD Vance, what was that?
Jeffrey Epstein control over
what?
She hasn't for the past 1,300 days. Giving Kamala Harris control over inflation policy, Shannon, it's like giving Jeffrey Epstein control over human trafficking policy. The American people are much smarter than that. They don't buy the idea that Kamala Harris represents a fresh start. She is more of the same. It is doubling down on the failed policies of the Harris administration to give Kamala Harris a promotion rather than to fire her, which is what I think most Americans are going to do on November.
Wow. I'm actually impressed. Well, let's check in on how Kamala's trip in Pennsylvania is going as Trump supporters welcome her with Trump signs as she's making her way in.
Get right out of town!
Wow. Hundreds of people, probably a group of probably 100 people, maybe less, screaming with signs of Trump. Obviously, Trump supporters booing the Harris campaign as they're with Secret Service here entering another spot. I know some people are coming in a little late to this live stream. Some people will watch this live stream a little later after it's posted. But Kamala Harris had a first interview where she seemed very confused, very caught off guard. But CNN finally caught her. Thank you for your donation, Daniel, $10 donation. And yeah, more word salad. But the truth is finally coming out, and people are finally starting to realize that this is who this person, excuse me, this is who this person has been throughout this whole time. Right? Specifically when you're running for the United States of America's president. You're running for president, the eye is on you. And there's only so much that the media can lie about or do. And yeah, very confused. Oh, is that from 2020? Oh, my bad, guys. Very confused. Very confused. All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure thank you, Nini. I appreciate your donation. By the way, for those who don't know, here is something very interesting here. This is what's going on right now. We are going to be keeping an eye out on this. I might go live to talk about this, but apparently this is what the protests look like in Chicago right now. They are beginning to protest Kamala Harris. They're beginning to protest all of the Democrats. And as you can see, we got and today, this is today. So the Democratic National Convention will be heating up this week. So we're going to be seeing a lot of this where the streets are flooded. People are going crazy. We're going to be streaming it. We're going to be basically, yeah, this is going to be wild because we've seen what the protests have looked like before, specifically in college campuses. But now they're protesting Kamala and Joe Biden, and Obama is going to be there to speak. So what is it going to look like? It's already beginning today on Sunday. So this week will be pretty historic. It's going to be pretty crazy. Yeah, that is a huge, massive crowd, and there's more crowds forming. So what is this week going to look like? And yeah, we'll end it with a funny ad of Kamala Harris. Take a listen. This is AI, by the way, but it's supposed to be funny. So let's take a listen.
Recently, in a campaign stop in Nevada, I proposed my new, totally original idea: no tax on tips. And eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers. Now, I want to tell you about some of my other totally original ideas that I'll roll out starting on day one. Because of crooked Joe Biden, we have an immigration crisis. But let's call it what it is. It's an invasion. And I propose a totally new solution. I will build a wall. Nobody builds walls better than me. I will build a great wall on our southern border, and I'll have Mexico pay for it. This is my idea, 100% my own personal idea. And another original idea of mine on day one, the largest mass deportation in the history of our country. Totally original idea of mine. And another totally original idea, I'm going to strengthen our military. Joe Biden made our military weak, but I will make our military strong again. On day one, I will totally eliminate DEI. We will terminate every diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Yeah, this is a parody from Mr. Reagan. This is hilarious, man.
Program. And we all know Washington, D.C. is totally corrupt. It's a corrupt swamp. So I'm going to do something no one else has ever thought to do. When I'm president, I'm going to drain the swamp. Again, this is totally my idea, 100% original. I'm going to open up a bribery investigation on crooked Joe Biden because he belongs in prison. Let's drain the swamp. Totally my idea. Only I can fix the economy, build the wall.
Totally my idea. Totally my idea. We got some donations here from Kona's mom. Thank you so much for your donation. And we have Pineapple Queen. Thank you for your donation. Very kind of you guys.
End the war in Ukraine and eliminate tax on tips. These are all my ideas, 100% original. And remember when I got shot in Pennsylvania? Yeah, I'm basically an American hero. That really happened to me, for real.
No! No!
Let's drain the swamp. Totally my idea. Only I can fix the economy, build the wall, end the war in Ukraine, and eliminate tax on tips. These are all my ideas, 100% original. And remember when I got shot in Pennsylvania? Yeah, I'm basically an American hero. That really happened.
No! All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today. That is insane, wild. Please go watch the beginning of this live stream. Just thought I ended on a high note. Smash the like button if you guys can. Share this video, and we'll be back a little bit later with some better and bigger updates and videos. See you guys on the next one.